Okay, so now we're going to talk about, we already talked about a willingness to change, right? It has to be the focus of your mind, your mental awareness, and then listening, right? And listening to what others are saying with the intention of receiving it, validating it, appreciating it, and then processing it into any change for you. Now we're going to talk about forgiveness. Why is forgiveness important? Forgiveness is important because it is a primary necessary element in your relationship to others. Okay? When you can't forgive someone for something they've done, it means you're not forgiving their faults. Okay? You may have a standard in your life where you expect everyone to behave a certain way. It may be your children. It may be your spouse. It may be coworkers. It may be others in your life. You have expectations for them, right? And those expectations you have a desire for them to meet them. They're not necessarily communicated until you point out they didn't meet your expectations and you're unforgiving. They should be meeting your expectations. They should be changing. And you see, that is an issue of control. Part of our brain, part of our focus in life, especially if when we grew up we didn't have much control, if in our relationship to our parents or siblings they controlled us, or they were abusive, neglective, we learned in life, if I don't take control of my choices, my decisions, my actions, if I don't take control of others, then I lose control. And losing control is a terrible feeling for us because we have issues in the past where we experienced a loss of control. It was painful. What others people were allowed to do to us, what we received from others. When we lost control, it was very, very painful. So we don't want to go there. So we build up this tendency in our life to control things, to control others. And we develop friends who we can control, who we can tell what to do. The exact opposite of that is someone who gives up control. Okay? Maybe you're that kind of a person where you would rather have somebody else control your life, and you're very dependent on that. You don't think for yourself. You don't act for yourself. You don't behave in such a way that others feel that you behave in such a way that other people are invited to control you. You quickly accept their ideas. You quickly do what they tell you to do. You quickly give in what you want. Okay? That's a control issue. And when we want control, when we take control, we're very unforgiving. We punish people. When we're a controlling personality, the way we get people to do what we want is to punish them for what they do. We may ignore them. We may withhold resources. We may walk away, give up, quit. We may abuse them verbally. We may point out their faults continually. This is a controlling personality, and it's someone who believes that the way they can improve their life is to control others. So that person who's very controlling is very unforgiving, right? So they're always pointing out faults. They're always expecting people. They will always keep them on edge. There's always walking on eggshells because they're willing to point out your faults and make you feel bad for them at any given moment. Okay? If you're that controlling behavior, then people can't relate to you. They avoid you because you control them. You don't give them the freedom to think for themselves, act for themselves, have choices for their own life. You control it for your benefit. And one of the things that will improve your relationship to others is to begin to choose to let go of your controlling behaviors and attitudes. Okay? You need to see it for what it is. Controlling others is causing you conflict in your relationship. They avoid you. They walk away from you. They want their own freedom, and you're not giving it. You're punishing, you're abusing, you're withholding, and those are controlling behaviors. So one of the essential elements is for you to see how you are a controlling person. For yourself, you control others. And part of that is unforgiveness is one of the vital components of controlling. See? When you can't see other people as human beings who make mistakes and have faults, and you can't see that you're using that for your own benefit to manipulate them, then you can't see forgiveness. Forgiveness is the way that you start to decide to let people make mistakes, and you let people have permission to not meet your expectations. That's a hard one there, because controlling behavior has been something that you've done your whole life to avoid suffering and pain. But you see, it's not helping you now, is it? It's causing people to walk away. It's causing co-workers, spouses, children to walk away because you're too controlling. So one of the things you can practice is forgiveness. You can practice forgiving others for not meeting your expectations. In fact, it's going to be a normal practice for people to not meet your expectations. They're different people. They have different hopes and dreams and desires. And when you're controlling, what's really important, when you're controlling, you've completed the cycle. When someone was abusive to you and controlling, that's what created you to be controlling. You see that, right? It's repeating the cycle of control. They couldn't let go of it, whoever it was, parents, whatever, the abusers, the negative people, the critical people in your life that caused you to take control and hang on to it for dear life, they were controlling too. And this is what you're doing to others. You're suffocating them with your controlling behavior. So you need to see that as detrimental. You need to see controlling others as a fault of yours. You need to have a willingness to change that and let go. That means you have to be comfortable with not having control. You see, the one thing about control is you don't realize is you don't really have control. Think about it. You don't have control over the wind, the weather. You don't have control over mechanical devices. You don't have control over people. You can get them to do what you want. You can fear your children into obeying you until they get to 18, then they're gone. So you don't control that. And your wife. You may have a wife who gives in to you and stays with you, but you can't control the inevitable part of that. The inevitable part of controlling others is you really don't have control. And the underlying outcome will be anger. That's right, anger. If you're a controlling person, you have anger issues. It means that when something isn't going your way, you get angry. You may be physically violent, verbally abusive. You may withhold love, and everybody walks on eggshells because you might get angry. That's a sign you have control issues. When you have control issues, when you are so proud and you believe you're right in what you're doing, you may justify it with all kinds of reasons, like it's necessary to have a happy family. I need to tell others how to live their life. I need to focus on changing them. It may meet your agenda for work, religion. You know, that you believe this is what God wants everyone to do. Our family must do it. But you're controlling and you're angry. And your anger is causing a lot of problems in your relationships with others. So part of it is unforgiveness. You have to let go of the control. You have to start practicing releasing control and giving forgiveness as a grace to others, to let them be who they are, to feel good around you, to feel okay, to be allowed to make mistakes. This is what's part of forgiveness. And controlling is also an issue that we're going to talk about in the next video. What are the elements of control? How do we begin to practice letting go? And one of the things that helps is to know that everybody has difficulty changing, even you. And they need forgiveness in life. When you take someone else's mistake and you forgive them, you allow them to make mistakes. You believe they'll learn and grow and change on their own if you just give them a chance. No one likes to stay in a pattern that's unhelpful for them. So forgiveness will be a beneficial part of them being able to change and learn and grow around you and open up to you about what's their faults and their weaknesses. You see? If you can forgive that and have compassion for how hard it is to change, and the focus of that is listening to forgive, listening to hear, listening with empathy, how difficult it is to change and grow and learn, then what you'll discover is people want to be with you. Is it easy to let go of control? No. Is it easy to forgive? No. It's a gift. Forgiveness is a gift. You give a gift of forgiveness because you give them permission to make mistakes. And you give them permission to make mistakes about your expectations and your wants. And you give them permission to be a human being around you and have feelings and emotions and make mistakes and get angry. You have forgiveness. It's compassion for other people. So if you're lacking that, then practice forgiveness. Go about seeing the faults of others and forgiving it, encouraging them, letting it go, not focusing on their faults and weaknesses, focusing on hope, encouragement, empowerment. And we'll talk about these things in future videos. So have a good day. Practice forgiveness.